सारे नूं प्यार भरी सत श्री अकाल मैं थोड़ी अपनी सोनिया वेस्ट अज असीं इत्थे रिचमंड दे विच जिथे पियर पॉलीएव ने BC कंजरवेटिव लीडर जिहड़े आ उन्होंने सानू दसना उन्हां दे की विचार है साडी कंट्री लई किद्दां उन्होंने ड्रग्स दा जिहड़ा मसला ओह हल करना आ किद्दां कम्यूनिटीज़ नूं स्ट्रोंगर करना आ हाउसिंग मार्केट जिहड़ा आ ब्लू सील टैक्नोलॉजी रैड सील टैक्नोलॉजी उन्हां बारे जिक्र करोगे असीं तुहानूं लैके जांदे आ इस कॉन्फ्रेंस विच
Sure. So it's my pleasure to introduce Pierre Poilievre this morning. Some of you have met him many times, and some perhaps it's the first time. So Pierre is the leader of Canada's Common Sense Conservative Party, and he grew up as the adopted son of two school teachers. His wife, Anna, beautiful Anna, smart Anna, is... we're so lucky that she is part of our conservative family because she came to call Canada home as a refugee from Venezuela. And at that time, Canada made a promise to her family, which was that anyone from anywhere can do anything. Part of that promise also was that hard work paid off and you could earn a powerful paycheck that would buy affordable food, gas, homes in safe neighborhoods. But after 9 years, that promise has been broken by Justin Trudeau, and it's part of Pierre's mission to restore Canada's promise. We have a common sense conservative plan, which is to axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. Why do we have that plan? Because we want to get back to the Canada that we all knew and we still love. So with that, I am very honored to introduce the leader of Canada's Common Sense Conservatives and the next Prime Minister of Canada, Pierre Poilievre.
Thank you very much to our Common Sense Conservative Whip and Member of Parliament for Surrey White Rock, Carrie Lynn Finlay, and our Common Sense Conservative Senator for British Columbia, the great Yona Martin. It's great to be back in British Columbia, especially as the weather's warming up. It brings back memories because I grew up in Alberta, and what do Albertans do every summer? They invade British Columbia. We come here for beautiful vacations because we love the natural beauty and the wonderful people who welcome us. Our favorite place to go was the Okanagan. We used to drive from Calgary on those winding roads, and you used to go on vacation there as well?
Always, yeah. Many a sunburn in Penticton.
Yes, that's right. And
wine country
yeah.
Well, at the time, we weren't into much wine, but we loved to roast marshmallows around the fire, and we'd sleep in a tent. We didn't have money for a fancy chalet or motorboats or jet skis, but we could get those little paddle boats or canoes, and we could splash around in the water. And those were beautiful days. But somehow it feels like those days are gone right now. It feels like we're a long way from home. A lot of people this summer are saying, forget the vacation. I can't even afford food or rent. We were at one business yesterday and a young tradeswoman came up to me and she said her rent has gone up to $2,300 a month, which takes her entire after-tax paycheck. She has 2 kids. She says there's literally no money left on her paycheck to pay for food or clothes. 100% of her after-tax money now goes to rent. And so she runs an overdraft and borrows to pay for food and clothes. And she was in tears because she said that money's going to run out. I can only borrow so much before the bank says, sorry, we can't lend you anymore. So what does she do then? Does she move her kids into a tent? Do they go to a homeless shelter? She has a job. She's a tradeswoman. This is the kind of job that used to be able to buy you affordable food, gas, and homes, and a little camping trip in Penticton. But after 9 years of Trudeau doubling our debt, printing $700 billion of inflationary cash that drives up interest rates and everything else, a carbon tax that pushes up gas and therefore everything that is shipped by truck or train, she can't even afford to pay the rent. And Common Sense Conservatives are going to reverse this after the carbon tax election in the fall of 2025, where Canadians will have a chance to elect a new common sense government that will allow them to earn powerful paychecks that buy affordable food, gas, and homes in safe neighborhoods. We will do that with a common sense plan to axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. But that doesn't settle the problem of how do Canadians survive for the next 18 months. And we're trying to be helpful. And that's why today I called on the Prime Minister to axe all fuel taxes to give Canadians a summer break. Specifically, I am calling on the government to suspend all gas and diesel taxes from Victoria Day to Labor Day, to give Canadians a 35-cent a litre summer break. This will allow Canadians to gas up, maybe have a little camping trip. It will also support local tourism, because we know that Canadians can't afford to get on planes anymore to go to another country for a vacation, but they should at least be able to go and gas up their vehicle. Let's be honest, every vacation for a Canadian family right now is going to be done by car or minivan, and that means gas. So a 35-cent a litre fuel tax holiday will allow people to at least enjoy a little break from the miserable life Trudeau has given them over the last 9 years. This common sense plan will save thousands of dollars for families across Canada. It will be particularly important in BC, where gas today is $1.99, but it has gone over $2 multiple times. We're calling on the Prime Minister to cut back on the $21 billion he is spending on consultants so that we can pay for these savings. High-priced consultants like those that gave us the ArriveCan app are the ones that need to be cut back on, and we can cut back that waste and give people a break so that they can enjoy a summer holiday. That is the least that they can expect after all the hard work they have done. Wouldn't you agree with that?
I absolutely agree with that, yes.
So our purpose is to restore the Canada we know and love. We're also continuing to call on the government to bring in a national Blue Seal professional standard so that our brilliant immigrant professionals can take a test, prove they are qualified, and get to work in their fields as doctors, nurses, and other highly paid professionals. We want bail reform so that we can lock up dangerous criminals that are terrorizing our streets. Finally, we want to ban drugs, ban heroin, ban crack, ban cocaine, and stop giving out tax-funded opioids. We will shut down the tax-funded so-called safe consumption sites that they've tried to push in Richmond. Trudeau and the NDP want drug use in Richmond. I am against it, and I stand with the courageous Canadians of Chinese descent who have protested to protect their kids. And I condemn liberal racists who've been insulting our Chinese community and telling them to go home. This is wrong. We need to ban the drugs, and I want to thank Chinese Canadians for protecting our communities against this terrible scourge. We stand with them and with all common sense Canadians, common sense of the common people, united for our common home. Thank you.
Now we have time for some questions, Pierre. You're
Of course.
good with that?
Yes.
Okay, and we have some, there's one question per outlet, and I have a list. So I'm just going to start down the list, if that's okay. So we're going to start with Ming Pao.
I will ignore the advisory panel, and I will defund the CBC to save billions of dollars over my term as Prime Minister. And I think it's incredible that the CBC, while it's losing viewers, is paying out bonuses. They're cutting back regional coverage in communities across Canada and giving themselves massive bonuses for the executives, the incompetent bureaucrats, and the radical bureau chiefs that are doing such a terrible job. I support independent and free media like all of you. I believe that you are the ones bringing real information to people rather than just the state propaganda that CBC puts pushes out. A lot of the precursor ingredients are coming from China. They're going to Mexico. Mexico, it's manufactured into a dangerous opioid, and then it is easily brought in through our very porous and incompetent ports. 99% of the shipping containers that come into Canada are uninspected. So we need to buy high-powered scanners so that we can identify the drugs and guns that are coming in through those containers. And I will pay for stronger border enforcement and port inspections by canceling the multi-billion-dollar gun grab, whereby Justin Trudeau is going after law-abiding, licensed, trained and tested sport shooters and hunters. That is a complete waste of money that hasn't worked. I would rather spend the time going after gun and drug smugglers to keep these deadly poisons out of our country. We also need stronger criminal sanctions for the drug kingpins who are manufacturing and marketing these drugs in our communities, and that is what I will do. So you're quite right that almost all of the professions are provincially regulated. And those regulations have been delegated to professional licensing bodies, like colleges of physicians and so on. That said, there is a long-standing tradition of provinces and even countries recognizing a national or even an international standard of licensing for a given occupation. For example, since 1952, we've had one licensing standard for all of the licensed trades. It's called the Red Seal. So even though those trades are provincially regulated, all the provinces signed on 70 years ago to a national Red Seal standard, which has a test and allows you to prove you are qualified in the given licensed trade. Then you get a Red Seal stamp, and every province and territory agrees to recognize that standard. It is a federally administered but provincially joined standard. There's something called the Red Seal Council that oversees it, and they take input from all levels of government on how each trade should be licensed. I'm simply proposing to do exactly the same thing in the licensed professions that we did in the licensed trades 70 years ago. And to get the provinces to agree, I'm going to leverage federal immigration and healthcare dollars. They all want to have money from the federal government for these things. They all say they want more doctors, nurses, etc. Well, here's a way to prove it. Sign on. We've got 20,000 immigrant doctors, 32,000 immigrant nurses that cannot work because they have no way of proving their qualifications. In the States, a Filipino nurse can take an international exam and get licensed in a few weeks. In Canada, 85% of Filipino-born nurses are banned from working. So all I'm saying is the provinces who say they want more nurses and doctors should be able to sign on to a high standard but quick examination process to license foreign trained professionals. And that's my common sense plan. I think they will sign on, and I'm going to work with them to make sure that they do. They all say they want more doctors and nurses, and they're all asking for more and more federal money under the pretext that they need those doctors and nurses. So I'm going to say to them, well, if you really say you need more federal money just for more doctors and nurses, then here's an easy way to get more doctors and nurses. Let's do it. It doesn't require any new education funds to pay for it because these people are already educated. You just need to take this agree to a high standard, Canadian standard. We're not saying that we're going to have throw away our standards and have people who are unqualified, but let's have a quick test to get to qualify people and get them working in our system. And any province that says no to that, well, it's going to be hard for them to be asking me for money for to hire doctors and nurses when they say they don't want doctors and nurses. That is completely unacceptable. There should be no harassment of anyone in Canada for any reason, certainly not by any foreign government. It is absolutely unacceptable. Those who come here from abroad should be able to live in peace and harmony here without facing the harassment by communist dictatorships abroad. We need a foreign influence registry to expose any agents that are operating paid by foreign governments here in Canada. We need to shut down the Beijing-controlled police stations that are the nerve center of this kind of harassment and intimidation. And we need to protect our young people against this type of intimidation so that they don't face violence or other abuse. Unfortunately, Justin Trudeau has made Canada a playground for foreign influence, and that's going to change when I'm Prime Minister. Well, we're still studying the details. We're in favor of a foreign influence registry, stronger counterintelligence, shutting down the foreign-controlled police stations, and much more to protect against foreign dictators who try to interfere in our politics. We think that Trudeau will not want to pass this bill. He's just introducing it to take the heat off himself during the national public inquiry into this problem. But we want it passed. We want the registry created. We want it to be a real registry, and we're going to make sure that the measures inside it actually work to expose foreign agents and protect our domestic population.
From all countries.
From all countries. We oppose foreign interference from all countries around the world. Well, I think, listen, if diversity is the byproduct of freedom. Free people have the freedom to be who they want, worship God in their own way, make their own decisions, then then they can live any life they want. I don't think it's the role of the government to judge people based on their group identity, but rather on their individual character and their personal humanity. That's the approach I take to these questions. We don't want to divide. The problem we have in Canada is Trudeau divides people by race, ethnicity, gender identity, vaccine status, region, class, and that's why we're more divided than ever before. And we have a more than 100% increase in hate crimes under Justin Trudeau. That approach of dividing up the population, turning this group against that group, has led to more racism and discrimination. I believe in getting back to the Canadian way, which is to judge each individual based on their personal merits rather than on their group identity. That's how we'll unite all Canadians and honor every single person, regardless of whether their name is Chang or Charles, Mohammed or Martin, Singh or Smith, Poilievre or Patel. I want you to have the freedom to earn a great life with a powerful paycheck that buys affordable food, gas, and homes in safe neighborhoods. Thank you. You should vote for anyone other than the radical NDP. The wacko Trudeau NDP policies have doubled housing costs, made food unaffordable, caused tent cities and crime and chaos in our communities. British Columbia needs a common sense government that will help me axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. Thank you.
Sanjha TV.
Good morning. I'm
Good morning.
Sonia West, Sanjha TV. First of all, my question actually starts, my question starts with the title. So, what the fentanyl? WTF?
Yes.
With
That's
the
good,
Liberal
eh?
government having enough control over BC to keep this drug catastrophe going, do you believe federal governments should give more power to the provincial governments, or would a Poilievre government give more control to the province to make their own decisions?
I would say neither. I would ban these hard drugs, period. Trudeau gave an exemption to the criminal code which allowed the radical BC NDP to put crack smoking in children's parks, meth smoking in our hospitals, and killed 2,600 people. Any radical, wacko premiers and mayors who ask me to decriminalize hard drugs will get a flat no. No, never. I will ban those drugs. I will bring in a ban across the board. And let's make no mistake, the only reason the NDP and Trudeau are backing off is because there's an election coming. Right before the election, all of a sudden, the NDP says, oh, we were wrong. We shouldn't have put crack smoking in your children's parks. Whoops, we shouldn't have let someone smoke meth while they're holding a machete in a hospital room in front of a nurse who's breastfeeding her kids. Whoops, we were just kidding. And then when the election is over, they'll bring it back again because they've never even admitted that they were wrong. And Trudeau has not ruled out decriminalizing the drugs right across Canada. Toronto and Montreal have similar requests in because they have radical, wacko politicians running their municipalities. So the only way you can be guaranteed to ban the drugs, stop giving out tax-funded opioids, and instead treat the addiction to bring our loved ones home drug-free is by electing common sense conservatives.
I do have a follow-up.
Please, yes.
So, will there be serious criminal measures taken against open heroin, crack, fentanyl users other than the ordered rehabilitation?
That's a very good question. So right now we're really studying what do you do with someone who is addicted. We understand addiction is an illness. We think the predators are the drug dealers and smugglers. Those gangsters are going to face real jail time when I'm Prime Minister. The users, we need to find the best path to get them treated. Some of them commit other crimes that involve jail time. We need treatment in the prisons so that when someone's behind bars for 4 or 5 years, they're not spending the time doing drugs and staying in the life that's going to cause re-offenses when they get out. They should be given treatment while they're there, maybe as a part of their sentence. For those that have not committed crimes that involve jail time, we need to find a way to get them into treatment. There is a debate about compulsory treatment. I don't have the answer to that question yet. I need more information. I need to study whether it works or whether it does not. Some people believe that it would be a way to force people off the streets and into a detox and recovery program that turns their life around. Other people say it's hard to force treatment on someone who doesn't want it. I need to see more evidence to determine where I fall on those two things. So on that point, I'm still undecided.
Appreciate the honesty.
Thank you.
So I think everyone's had an opportunity, Pierre, to ask a question. I want to thank you also very much. I want to thank you, Pierre, for spending so much time here in British Columbia with us. We appreciate that. He visits often. He's been here, this is his third day here now. Made some major policy announcements, which are very important. And we thank you all for coming, for your time and your concern and your very good questions.
Yes.
Thanks very much.
Absolutely.
Thank
you
you.
very much, everyone. Good to see you. Thanks, folks.
ਉਮੀਦ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਧੀਆ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਪੀਅਰ ਪੋਲੀਐਵ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਗਾਹਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬਲੂ ਸੀਲ ਟੈਕਨੋਲੋਜੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਕ੍ਰੈਡੀਟੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਮੁਲਕ ਤੋਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਸ ਕੰਟਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਕੰਮ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਬਲੂ ਸੀਲ ਟੈਕਨੋਲੋਜੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਫਿਲੀਪੀਨੋਜ਼ ਜਾਂ ਇੰਡੀਅਨਸ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਸੋ ਜੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਨਰਸਿੰਗ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੋਵੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਰ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੇ ਹਫ਼ਤਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਸੋ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਉਮੀਦ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵਧੀਆ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਸਾਡਾ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਵੀ ਮਿਲਾਂਗੇ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਸੋਨੀਆ ਵੈਸਟ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ